I had the fortune to meet, and the honor to meet Sylvester right out of college in 1990. He was running for mayor for the very first time, Lieutenant Governor. And the community was bubbling. All the young men who wanted to aspire to be somebody. We all heard of this young man who had just graduated from Harvard Law and was working for a big-time law firm downtown. And he inspired, I guarantee you, about 40 of us at the same age to get involved in his campaign for mayor. Some of us went on to be senators. I know 2 that went on to be constables. I know about 5 that went on to be big-time lobbyists here in Texas and in Washington, D.C. Not to mention the plethora of lawyers that came through at that time. He always considered himself a little boy from Baker's Homes, the fofo. His mother worked at Foley's downtown. He would catch the bus from 404 all the way to University of Houston, Carol. I used to always talk about how he had to catch 4 buses in the morning to get to University of Houston. The first suit he had when he got accepted to Harvard Law School was bought by a lady in our community. That lady came back and worked on that campaign some 12 years later. I worked at Sylvester. I was a police officer at that time, Brother King. And myself and 2 constables that are now in Houston, we take pride and privilege of being his first detail when he didn't have a detail. And he likes to tell the story that Borris L started with me as his driver. And I did. But he had so much charisma. He had so much influence over not just those young brothers that were coming up, but old ladies in the community, young folks. He was just a down-to-earth kind of guy. Never forgetting where he came from. Always being a public servant. The true essence of a public servant. You know, I had the privilege of serving with him after 2 failed mayoral races, serving with him in the House. And I'll tell you a funny story how I got here. He and another brother of ours by the name of Al Edwards were walking in the hallway one day, and I had come to visit old Al because he was voting to cut chips. And District 146 was the highest usage of chips in the state of Texas. That's the district he represented. And Al wouldn't get off the floor, Royce, to meet with me. It was in 2005. He wouldn't get off the floor, 2004, he wouldn't get off the floor to meet with me. And when they adjourned, I caught him and Sylvester in the hallway. And I said, Representative, I came here to meet with you about your vote on chips. Al said, I know. I don't have nothing to say to you. Sylvester chuckled at me. He said, if you want to do something about it, if you want to change it, run against him. On the way home, Senator Nichols, I had commitments for over $300,000 to run for that position. What I'm saying to you is, genuinely, Mayor, Congressman, State Representative Sylvester Turner is the reason that I'm here with you all right now. And I enjoy being a public servant, like he used to always say. Many of you got to see when Sylvester was at the back mic, and he was trying to be a fiscal conservative. He'd bring this abacus out, And he'd say, something just don't add up right here. Or he'd say, wait a minute, TSU's getting that much, A&M's getting that much, and UT's getting that much, that don't add up. This was his abacus. And when he left the building, he stopped by my office and he said, hey, got something for you. And he signed it. Sylvester Turner, Representative Borris Miles, the 84th session, 2015. I'll cherish this forever. I'll cherish the friendship, the relationship, the guidance, and the mentoring that he gave me. Texas has lost one of its best, Sylvester Turner, a true public servant, a fantastic orator, and knew how to negotiate, Senator Betancourt. Gone at 70. Later on this week, Madam Patsy, thank you. Karina, thank you. We're going to do a formal resolution. Mr. President, I want to thank you for giving us this time today, on this day, to say goodbye. To not just a man, but a man who knew, never forgot who he was and from which he came. And all he ever wanted to do was be a public servant. Thank you, Mr. President.